Today is going to be a really, really cool show. We've talked about doing this. We've actually wanted to do this for quite some time, where we bring on an agent where an agent is doing really, really well, like extremely well, by simply employing a lot of the things that we talk about right here on this show and on our teams, and how we raise agents up and really just coach agents to be their very best. And every once in a while, there's that agent that is just really, really crushing it, doing an exceptional job. And we want to, for multiple reasons, bring them onto the show to celebrate them, right? And,
100%.
Yep. Not only just to celebrate them and get all excited about what they're doing, but to maybe pick their brain a little bit on, how are you doing this? Like how is this possible that you're closing so many transactions? So what we are going to talk about today is basically a success story.
Okay, so the reason I think this is really cool is, and I know you do as well, we listen to a lot of other speakers and team leaders, and we hear from these people that have built these incredible businesses and systems and everything, but we really never hear from the people that are using those systems, benefiting. And honestly, it takes agents on the team implementing the systems that are built to figure out if those systems work and how they can work better. So this is cool. I think this is really cool. For those of you listening in, we are going to speak with somebody from Bryan and Lorianne's team today. And she is, she's killing it right now. I don't know how else to put it other than she is producing more than a lot of team leaders are producing. And we just, like Bryan said, want to pick her brain. We hope, some people listening in are maybe in that position where it's like, hey, I'm not a team leader, so this is cool for me because I can actually hear from somebody who's, on a team and doing really, really well. So listen in.
Should we just go ahead and bring her on in? Bring her
on. I'll let you introduce her since she is with you on your team, but
yes,
it's going to be a good one.
You hear us a lot on this show talk about what we do backstage. Right now, Julie is backstage. She's just waiting patiently for this, so I'm going to bring her on. Hello to Julie Pegg. How are you?
Hi, Bryan. Hi, Jason. I'm so happy to be here today.
Well, we are ecstatic that you are here for a number of reasons. I want the world to get to know you because you're a fascinating person. And I think a lot of new agents, and even, again, like I said, more seasoned agents that are maybe needing a little refresher course or reset on some things, are going to be able to get a lot of good nuggets out of some of the things that you share. So if you don't mind, Julie, we would just like to ask you a couple of questions. This is, as much as this, we want to say this is unscripted, right? We want you to feel, Julie, that you can be very just honest and candid with us. If you feel uncomfortable answering our questions, you can just say, I don't know, or whatever. It's just, we're just doing this because it's exciting for us. It's exciting for you. We just want to launch at this, and we'll just, this is live. It's on the fly. Let's just go.
And just to let you guys know, I'm excited about being here and sharing. If I can share anything that you guys have taught me, I'm so happy to do that. If I didn't realize I was doing such a great job, but
right? Isn't it? That's
because you're busy working.
That's how it always is. Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. So I want to start off by just asking, why did you choose real estate, Julie? And when you answer this question, maybe help us to understand a little bit about who you are, like, how long you've been doing this, things like that.
So originally, real estate was foreign to me. And as a woman, I wanted to learn about it. So what else do you do? Take a real estate course. And that's exactly what I did. As I got into it more, I really enjoyed the part about showing people homes. I actually lived in San Diego, and I worked with a person in San Diego, and he actually was really good, but I didn't really do a lot of transactions at all, like maybe one in a year. So,
wow.
yeah. And so I've always wanted to do real estate. I think it gives me a lot of autonomy. It allows me to have more time with my family. It allows me to have a little bit more control over my schedule. And that's super important to me, but because I'm super organized and I can do a lot in a day.
Yeah.
And so if I have my own time, control of my own schedule, that's how I'm able to do it. And real estate's filled in all those blanks.
Wow. So it really was just that you enjoy the idea of showing houses, and that's what got you into real estate?
Showing houses, helping people. I'm super passionate about, helping people and genuinely, not just, that's what it's in me to do that all the time. So it is exciting. I show a house, I help people get a home, and they get super excited, and they are thanking me for that. I'm like, well, so that just reiterates that I really love doing this. It makes me happy and keep doing it. And that's why I'm here today.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's a big deal, right? It's like, there's a lot of people that are in sales and they sell certain things, whether it's, cell phones or glasses or shoes or whatever they sell. There's a lot of great sales jobs out there. But when you're selling houses, you're selling a much bigger product, a much bigger deal for someone, right, Jason? Do you agree with that?
A lot more important. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's far more important. I don't know what is more important than that.
It's one of the hugest things, a decision to make in your life as a home. You're buying a home. So if I'm a part of that process and can help people buy a home, that is super exciting. And it's, to me, it's been fun.
Yeah.
When you said it was your passion and then you stopped and said, you mean that genuinely? I could actually tell you meant it genuinely just by the tone in your voice. So it was kind of funny that you meant it genuinely. You sounded more genuine than when you said that than almost anybody I've ever heard say that. So.
It's interesting. One of my clients said that too, because I showed them a home and they actually opened escrow on the home. And I'm just going to share, I don't have to give any details, just let you know, the home was the home when I went to the home inspection. I had not seen the home.
Yeah.
She went there on an open house. And so when I actually saw the home, I was,
mortified.
Good word. Yes. Okay. So my husband's an engineer, and I showed him the home inspection, and he basically, as an engineer would say, the house needs to be torn down and rebuilt. And so I had to make a decision and call them and say, look, guys, this isn't a safe home for your family. They got 2 small kids. And I really struggled to tell them that, but I go, I'm being honest with you. And I go, I think let's just keep looking. We can back out of this and go to the next one. And that's what we did. And they actually thanked me because they knew when they went there for the home inspection that there was a lot of things wrong with the house, but they needed me to tell them that. And I just said, yeah. And they thanked me. And I just closed their deal this week. They got a new home.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Yeah. Wow.
And so it's like, not only did you do the right thing, but you did it with the right intention. And so it's like, you have no idea how much business that's going to bring you over.
That's what they said too, but that's just how I am. I couldn't be able to go to sleep at night knowing I let them in a house that was unsafe.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, let's move into this question. I mean, obviously we know why now. We know why you joined or became a realtor and went down that career path. Tell us about your team. So why did you join a team? Why was that important to you?
So, when I was in San Diego, I wasn't really a part of a team. It was more of independent, and I sold one house in 1 year. So, when I met you and Lorianne, we talked, and you actually helped me sell my house here in Marietta, and that's how we met. And I loved the professionalism that you guys, your presentation, everything about what you did when you sold my house in Marietta was beautiful. And I go, that's the team I want to be on. And actually, you guys called me like after we moved in, because you helped us find our new house, and Lorianne called me and goes, hey, I know you're busy, but I wanted to ask you a question, but just call me when you have a free time. And I go, I'm ready. And what is it? And at that point, she asked me to join the team, and I could not have been prouder. It's something I I was like, you want me to join your team? I mean, that was like huge.
Yeah.
So, and being a part of a team is where, we all have each other's back. There's been times when, somebody's out of town and I'll help show, or vice versa. I mean, real estate is 24/7. You don't really get a break, but by having a team, you have people that help you and want you to succeed. And that's huge. And that is very rare when you have your team people that really want you to succeed.
Yeah.
That's huge.
That is very cool. What do you say to that, Jason? You look like you're about to jump on that.
Well, I wasn't. So it wasn't that in particular. I was agreeing with what you're saying. And again, you just have this like presence of coming across very genuine. So it's like cool to watch you saying what you're saying. For those who are listening and can't see, they won't know what I'm talking about. But it's I read people really well. So it was more of like, I can just tell what you're saying is just super genuine.
Yep.
I was trying to find the right place to interject, which I guess this is probably it. Even though it's on the screen, if you can, just for people listening, whether you want to do that now or later, brag a little bit. Like, you've been on Bryan Lorian's team for 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
For people who can't see what we're looking at, like, give us an idea of what you've done, just so that people listening understand. Like,
right,
you've done a lot of business.
So in 5 months, I've done, I'm in my 10th escrow right now. I've closed 6. And if you do the math, I've sold $4.2 million in homes in the last 5 months. And to be honest with you, I just did that calculation today because I've been so busy and gratefully busy. But keep in mind, I don't know what I don't know because I've never done it this much before. So I didn't realize I was doing anything different or better, and not that I'm doing anything better, but just, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Super grateful.
She has, Jason, to answer a little more detail there, she has $4.6 million between what she has in her pipeline and what she has already sold.
Yeah,
so
that's incredible.
And it's growing. I mean, I know for a fact because, she's on my team, so I know what's going on. She's still writing offers. She just wrote another offer today. That's not in her pipeline, but it's future business. She's continuing to do that. She is an absolute rock star. And, she's alluded to a couple things. I want to make this point because I think it's important. One of the things that she has mentioned several times just in the last, 13 minutes we've been live here is she has said, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm new at this. I don't know anything. So I'm new at this. One of the reasons why she is successful is because she trusts the process and she doesn't let anything get in the way. She doesn't have any bad habits or any of to speak to a team. Why teams are so important is because they can help you establish as a newer agent routines. And there's a cadence of accountability that we talk about. And there's a lot of things, opportunity that you get. And you don't have a lot of baggage. You just have, all right, here I am. I'm a blank slate. Let's start rocking and rolling. And that's why. And so after these 10 escrows, I can assure you, Julie, you're not going to be like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no clue. This is just amazing. Yeah. You're going to know exactly how it happened because you have systems in place. And I actually wanted to ask that question too. What does your daily routine look like?
So what I've learned to do, and again, it's from being on our team and listening to our weekly sessions. I've learned these items from you guys, and that's what's helping me. But to do at least 5 to 10 follow-up calls per day because we are on the Zillow Premier Agent team, and so there's a lot of calls from Zillow. So we do have to do a lot of follow-up calls because a lot of the folks that call in, they want to go look at a house, but they're not pre-approved yet. So we have to help them with that process. But so I give them a lender's name and number, and then I want to follow up with them, like at least at the day of, I try to do it a day of 4, but no later than day 7. Follow up. So that's what I try to do then. I also keep organized by using this little lovely paper, which I'll show it to you, but it basically, anytime I open an escrow, I'll completely fill this out with the buyer's name, listing agent, TC, the whole work, because this is what I use the whole time I'm doing an escrow, because you have to have it handy and ready to answer. And then the other thing I use to stay organized and is to use a whiteboard. Basically, it basically has every escrow that I have opened, and then it has when I need to do a home inspection, AVID, or request for repairs, close date. Again, all something, and it's sort of like a vision board in a way. I actually see it every single day. I'll show it to you. I don't know if it's right there. So, but it's just a whiteboard that has all my information on it.
It's perfect.
And it's my vision board.
I love that because, Jason and I, we run teams very similar. My wife and I have very similar views as well, and just on how to, what to have in your office around you to keep you just in it to win it, and keep your focus. Vision boards are huge, and having the transactions in front of you. I mean, a vision board is different, when you have pictures of the vacations you want to take and things like that. But having a list of transactions that are currently going, keeping you organized. It's also when you look over and you see all the stuff you have in the pipeline, it just feels like, wow, I'm crushing it. This is great. It's a constant affirmation. Mm-hmm. I think that's great.
I call it my business vision board.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. And that speaks to how do you stay so organized with so much business? It's that cover sheet that you're using, and it's and these things. We talked about this a little bit backstage. What you're doing is kind of old school, and we can laugh about that. But the fact is, it's old school. Anything you put stuff on a board. Nowadays, we have so many apps and different things that we can do to stay organized, and I think it's amazing. We're opening a new office soon, and I want to have all of our transactions, instead of them being written on a whiteboard, they're actually going to be projected on a TV. And so you can clearly see, what's going on. And anytime anyone makes any adjustments to what's happening, it's there in real time on the TV. Nice. So which is sort of like a electronic whiteboard. But, what works for you works for you. Mm-hmm. Lorianne, she loves keeping a paper trail of things. She's high tech in some areas and totally lo-fi in other areas, but it works for her and she loves it. So I think that's a great way to do it. You've got your systems.
Yeah, I think it's important everybody finds their own way, and then you make it your own. I mean, we have wonderful people on our team that are techie, and I'm not techie at all. So it has helped because when you have that support on your team, when you need help, you're there to ask somebody. So I agree.
Crazy.
Whether it's paperless or tons of paper, I mean, whatever it takes, you do. The big thing, or the emphasis really is, real estate's awesome. I mean, we can all make a ton of money, but we can also not make any. And it for people who are not organized, a lot of times they don't realize how much business is actually in front of them that they're missing. And a lot of that just comes down to exactly that. It's not having a system. It's not being organized. Things fall through the crack. All of a sudden they see something on social media. Oh my God, the person I've been talking to has bought a house. And a lot of it just boils down to, when were you supposed to follow up with again? Well, I don't know. Yeah. Like, okay, so, that cost you whatever, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, depending on your market. So, whatever. So for me, my process, and then I have 2 Zillow questions I want to go back to, but like my process, anything that's urgent, I'm old school. I use Notepad. Anything beyond that isn't like urgent that day, I have a Google Doc that is always growing and shrinking and growing and shrinking. So it's like, that's my process, it's there. I know to check it. And then I transfer what I have to do like immediately. So Notepad, same thing. So going back to Zillow real quick, just because obviously Zillow is huge in our industry. And I feel like there's such a disparity between people who do well with it and people who just hate it, quite frankly. So the questions I wrote down were, and I know every lead is different, but if you get if you get a live person on the phone that's inquiring about a property, and let's say that particular property doesn't work, but they asked all the right questions, and how often are you following up with them?
I follow them at least every 4 to 7 days. I try 4 days. Like if they don't have a lender in process or a pre-approval letter, then I'll follow up with them in 4 days. Say, hey, where are you with the process? I do try to do a FaceTime call with each one because I think it brings a little more personal relationship since we do meet through Zillow, and also so when we meet each other at the property, we know what each other looks like already, and that does make it a little bit more personal. They seem to okay, it's a live person, on the other side, and I'm answering questions. And so I try to just answer as many questions as I can,
Yeah.
and give as much information to them about the buying process, because it's different today.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you have to go through and explain to them. So
that's awesome. You answered the second part of my question, and that was everybody has their one little thing that they kind of do maybe differently, or that really works for them. And so I was going to ask, like, what is one little thing when you're doing your follow-up that works? And I think you kind of nailed it with FaceTime, which it does when you can, look at another human being, there's just a different connection. So you kind of answered my next one. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I really push video on our team. We have become, we're doing literally 200 times more videos than we have been in the past, to the point now where when somebody calls Julie, Zillow lead, whatever, she has multiple lead sources, but we're kind of focusing on the stuff that's really turning right now for her. She is not afraid. She'll literally, like she just said, she will FaceTime them. She'll literally say, "Hey, I'm going to call you back to find out if it's okay, if the seller's, okay with us seeing this at 1:00 today. When I call you back to confirm, I'd like to, if it's okay, I'm going to FaceTime you, because I just want you to get a feel for what I look like, and we're going to meet each other." And everyone, for the most part, says, "Sure." So she's literally connecting with them via FaceTime right after that live transfer call. And it's making a huge difference. It's something that I think a lot of agents can learn. When you get a lead, or you're talking to a past client or someone in your sphere, shoot them a quick video and thank them for taking the time to chat with you, and you're looking forward to doing business with them, and soon.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
Awesome.
Yeah, 2 of the listings that I closed were out of town people that didn't even see the house prior to buying it.
Until you handed keys, they never saw it.
Well, I did FaceTime with them throughout the time. But I mean, that initial connection on FaceTime with me and them together, I think they go, okay, I'm a real person, and I answered. I think it made it more personal, just like you say. Sometimes when you meet somebody, you're like, oh, they're really nice, and being that they're from out of state, I think that made them feel better, to know that.
For sure. Here's something, we live in a pretty crazy market right now. How are you getting offers accepted in this crazy market? I mean, you've got 10 escrows going, $4.6 million in the last 5 months. But that could not happen if you weren't getting offers accepted. So what are you doing?
So I actually, since I'm on your team, Bryan, I've been watching your shows that you guys do on, and one of your shows that you did was 5 things to get offers accepted. And I literally wrote every one of them down. And then your subsequent shows, you put more ideas into my head.
Yeah.
So I actually have 7 things on my list of, how to get offers accepted.
Strategies to use to get them accepted.
Yeah. That right there makes this whole thing worth it.
It does. It makes this whole thing worth it. Jason, I think we can honestly say that we have a listener. We have a viewer.
Well, being that I'm greener than green when it comes to this, I really trusted the show, and I trusted the advice that you guys gave me, and it worked. Now, not everything that I wrote down is going to work for each person, so I have to individualize it to whichever person. And sometimes you do. You do know which ones you can use and which ones you can't.
Exactly. So, if you have 7 strategies that work to help get offers accepted, maybe 1 or 3 of those will work.
Yep. I have them all right here in front of me every time I do an offer.
Look at that, Jason. Wait, hold that up again so Jason can see.
That's
she
awesome.
Took notes during the show, and now she's doing it.
I have 7 things now.
One thing you just said is one piece that a lot of people, maybe there's like a disconnect, and that is you're not going to be able to use all of them, which means you're listening. And you're able to identify, oh, okay, this is the one that's going to work for this person. You wouldn't connect those dots if you weren't truly listening to that particular client. So that's kudos on that, because most people know what they want to say, and they're going to say it no matter what. So to listen and then say, okay,
yep,
I learned, and number 3 on my list is that's going to apply. So that's really good. You said you have 7. I'm curious to know which 2 you added.
The number 6 was immediate releasing 5K to the seller, that EMD.
Mm-hmm.
And
That
I've
was a bonus
used that
one that
strategy once. That worked once with me, so that was good.
Okay.
And then the number 7 was start with the highest offer, and that also just worked with the last one I just closed. Or yeah, the one I put an offer in. I used the highest offer period. I didn't even use an escalation clause, and that got it. So again, I mean, like I can look at all 7 of these, and I go, every one of them I've used, and I've been successful because of every one of them.
It's incredible. I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a great reminder to those that are whether you're listening on the podcast or watching on Facebook Live, or maybe you're checking this out on YouTube. These things that we talk about, they work, and it's free. The advice we're giving is free, which I think is a pretty good deal. So, Julie, I know this is a vague question, but I have to ask it. What is your magic sauce? I mean, 10 escrows, 5 months, 4.6 million. We've already learned that you're making the calls. That's a huge thing. We know that you are showing up every day to do it. You're doing video. You're staying organized. You're using great techniques to get your offer accepted. Beyond all of that stuff, what is your magic sauce?
I have to say, and I really, when you asked me that earlier, I really had to think about it, because I'm trying to think of what is that makes, but I think the biggest thing is that I'm authentic and genuine. Now, I'm not just saying that, but when I do these calls, my husband sits there and listens to me, and he gives me feedback. He's like, and one time he goes, wow, he goes, you really listen and talk to these people. And like, you give personal experiences, just, I can't even tell you what it is that I did, because it's just natural for me to do that. Yeah. And so I think it's just that part in me that I want to help, and I want to be honest with people and give them as much advice as I can. And I think that's for me, that's maybe my magic sauce.
Yeah. I'll bet it is. What do you think, Jason?
It literally, so with my wife, Rachel, when she first started, because I was in the business for a while before she was, there were a couple of clients I hate to use the word closing, but it just wasn't happening. And so she came along, and it was like certain things she just said, and Bryan knows her really well. Like, she'll just kind of say what she is thinking.
Oh, yeah.
And it kind of scared me, because I was like, oh, no. Like, don't tell that, like, don't be that honest with them. And like, they looked at me and they're like, we like her. She's straight up with us. And I was like, what? I mean, obviously I like her too, but like, we were in escrow super quick. So it was really funny, that dynamic of like, she was a lot more blunt on some things than I would have been, but it was that genuine, like, they could just tell, like, oh, okay, she's just giving it to us the way it is.
Yep.
She cannot stand this house, and here's why. And it was like, from there, they like literally leaned on her for every single, they didn't ask me another question the rest of the transaction. I was like, okay, all right, cool. So
I think that is magic sauce. Sometimes the what makes it so magic is that there's really no magic in it, right? Because we're always trying to come up with these special formulas to be a magic sauce, when really what she's saying is, my magic sauce is not magic. It's me. It's me. I just want to be myself. I'm going to not care if my hair's blown out because I just showed houses in, La Cresta, and it's, 20 mile an hour winds. I'm going to do a quick FaceTime with this lead real quick, and I don't care. I'm authentic. Yeah. I think in that, and Julie's magic sauce, or her authenticity. I did say that right. Do I have to do this later?
Yeah.
Her authenticity just shows, And Jason, what do we talk about? Because we've been highly coached. I mean, if people are going to do business with you, there's 3 things. They got to know you, like you, trust you.
100%.
And when you're authentic, it's really easy to get to know you. So it's very easy to get to know Julie. I mean, I bet you most people feel like they know her pretty well already, just in this, 25 minutes.
Yep.
They're going to trust you because of your knowledge, and because of your, the fact that you're very present there in the transaction. And, how can you not like her, right? No, like, and trust. So,
There you go.
anyway, I think it's great. I'm very thankful that you were willing to take this time, Julie.
Thank you.
To share this.
Thank you, guys.
It's a great time for us to celebrate an agent that's just crushing it. But you didn't have to take an hour, really 20 minutes backstage and then another, 30 minutes here. That's a lot of time, and you're busy. So I want to thank you personally for taking the time to do this. And maybe we'll have you back on when you've got, 20 escrows in 5 minutes and 8 million.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm happy to be here and happy to share and help anybody else. So I want to help as many people as I can.
Thank you so much for that. Really, really appreciate it. So
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for being there. We're going to go ahead and send you backstage, and Jason and I will finish up. I guess we'll see you very soon, right? You're on my team. I'll probably see you later today or tomorrow. Thanks again, Julie. Really appreciate it. So, Jason, what do you think of that?
I loved it. That was awesome. I think
that's incredible.
Yeah. And I think right from the get-go, and just as she was capping it off too, the just being authentic and being real and being you, like there's just a certain presence that comes with that. And I think like if for me, like taking away that and also, kind of tying that into how, my wife is as my business partner, is just a reminder of just being authentic and being you, how important it is.
Totally. And I want to say one other thing too about Julie, since she's not here. We give a lot of opportunity to a lot of team members and a lot of different agents, people that are just kind of in our ecosystem. And not everyone, takes the same. I mean, you can give everyone the same exact opportunity and people will outperform. And some of it can just be luck, the luck of the draw and the types of leads, things like that. But a lot of times it's everything that she just talked about. It's being authentic, it's being present, it's making the calls, it's not having any other distractions, it's just digging in and doing it. And I think a lot can be learned from that. So she's just crushing it. For those of you that are watching this, also, Jason has a team member that is doing very similar to what Julie is doing by employing a lot of the things that we're talking about here on this show, both, live here on YouTube and the podcast, that are listening and actually consuming this content and putting some legs to it. And so in the very near future, we will have one of his team members on to express some of their success stories as well.
Yeah, that'll be fun. It'll be good.
Very good. So that's pretty much all we have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Please be sure to like and subscribe and share and do all those things you're supposed to do. And we will catch you next week.